Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Helen and I'm officially enrolled as a Minerva student, class of 2025 or M25 as we call it. In this video, I want to explain how the application process works for Minerva because it's super different from any other US colleges that I've applied to. If you've never heard of Minerva, I talked about it in this video where I explained why I chose to transfer from Brown to Minerva and the basics of how Minerva works. So check it out if you've never heard of Minerva. If you have heard of Minerva and you're thinking of applying, this video is for you. A quick disclaimer, I'm not an official Minerva representative, and in my previous video I forgot to mention it verbally, but I did include it in my description box. So I'm not an official representative. Anything that I talk about in this video is from my own research and from my own experience, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I will divide this video into two portions. In the first portion, I'll explain how the process works, and in the second portion, I'll give you my tips on how you can do better during the application process. Like I said, Minerva's application is super different and it's unique, and I've never seen any other school use this kind of process before. First, there is no application fee, unlike most US colleges. Second, there are no standardized test requirements, so no SAT, no ACT, anything like that. Thirdly, there are no quotas for gender or ethnicity. Fourth, there are no preferential treatment for US citizens or athletes or legacies that are prevalent in almost all traditional US colleges. Fifth, there are no consideration of family or financial status during the admission. And lastly, there's no enrollment cap. So technically, anyone who applies that meets Minerva's criteria can get in. So there's no cap of how many students can be accepted each year. Okay, moving on, the application itself has three parts. The first part is who you are. So that includes your basic information like which high school you graduated from or are expecting to graduate from, your high school transcript, and other basic information about you. When I applied last year, I don't think the application was offered through the Common App, but now it is. So you can complete the first portion of the application through the Common App and then move on to parts 2 and 3 on Minerva's website. The second part of the application is how you think. So this was the part that I was most nervous about because this was something I've never encountered in other colleges, and it felt like more of an IQ test rather than a college application. So in this part, there are a series of challenges that test how we think, how creative we are, and things like that. So there was an understanding challenge, reasoning, math, creativity, writing, and expression. So in the expression portion, we have to verbally speak and like we're recorded. The challenges are timed and proctored. So you have a time limit for each section, and your camera and your microphone are on. So you cannot have someone beside you in the room and ask the answers or whatever. So please don't attempt that. That will be a big mistake. So just try your best. And the third part of the application is the accomplishments section. So it asks you to share six accomplishments that you've made. These accomplishments can be anything from your personal projects. It could be like creative projects that you've pursued, to internships, jobs, leadership positions in high school, volunteering, anything like that, anything that really shows who you are as a person and what you've been able to accomplish in the last 3 to 4 years in high school. So yeah, you list down those accomplishments and give solid evidence of how you've accomplished them and what you've actually accomplished. So like including numbers and amount of hours, like specific amounts of money if you fundraise for something, things like that. It's very important. So yeah, that's the third section. Next, I want to give you some tips so when you're actually applying, your process is easier and smoother and you're more well informed and you feel more ready to get into the application. First, don't overthink it, and this applies mainly to the challenges section because like I am a very extreme overthinker. I overthink every single detail, so I was really freaking out like, oh my gosh, what if I make this one mistake and like mess everything up, and I was just so worried. But honestly, you can't really study for the how you think section and like all the challenges that you have to do. It's basically literally like what's already in your head. Also in the speaking section, I was very nervous because there was a certain amount of time that we have to fill and we can't stop beforehand. It's like we kind of have to talk for like the time limit and like not more, not less. So I was trying so hard to fill in the time. Some of the questions I went over time. Some of the questions like I couldn't think of any other thing to say because it was like on spot, and yeah, like my brain was heating up and I was so nervous. So yeah, but trust in yourself and just try your best and don't overthink it. The second tip I have is more practical, and it is to have a piece of paper and a pencil or pen ready, because in the math and in the speaking section that will be helpful. In the math section, some problems it will help to like quickly calculate it, and in the speaking section, after you hear the prompt, it will help to brainstorm or outline some main points that you want to talk about when the timer starts and you have to start speaking. Thirdly, this I don't think I really did before I began my application, but I would say really think and prepare the reasons why you want to attend Minerva and why you think it fits you. Not just why you think Minerva should accept you, but also why it's a good fit for you. It's like any relationship, you know, like it has to be like both ways. So it's important to really think about and remind yourself and remember like why you're applying to Minerva, what aspects of Minerva you're excited about, and also what aspects of Minerva is holding you back in certain ways. So yeah, really think about that. The fourth tip I have applies to the third portion, the accomplishments portion, and it is to be very selective of what accomplishments you want to share. I would say the more unconventional your accomplishments seem, the better, because the first time I applied, the majority of my accomplishments were things that pretty much any other high schooler could have done. But the second time around, I feel like the things that I did in between the first time I applied and the second time, those things really showed who I am as a person and what I'm interested in and my passions, which like I haven't really found my true calling or whatever, but things that I'm interested in and things that really make me happy, and not just for college. During high school, I feel like the things I did were very limited in the sense that most of my other classmates were doing the same clubs and projects as well, so it wasn't unique. So yeah, be very selective of what accomplishments you want to share and really think about what really makes your application different from others, and like what is unique about you and what you can offer to the community. Those were my tips and my explanation of the whole Minerva application process. I hope this was helpful for you, and if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or you can also DM me on my Instagram right here. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!